I'm Heather.
And I'm Desiree.
And you're listening to
the Perpetually Overdue Podcast. Hello, friends, and welcome to another week of the Perpetually Overdue Podcast. I'm Desiree.
And I'm Heather.
And this week is going to be another Am I the Asshole episode.
Yay.
Y'all really seem to have enjoyed that first one, and we surprisingly had a lot of fun filming it. And so we definitely were looking forward to doing another one as soon as we could. And today's that day. So get ready because we don't know. Again, we had friends pretty much collect stories and give them to us. We only know the titles. We have no idea or any information on the content of the stories. So it's going to be a blind reaction. So we don't know what's about to happen or come out. And we'll have opinions and things to say. So
well, we always have opinions.
Yeah, we do. So get ready, friends. Curious to see what shit show these people got themselves into.
So shall we get into it?
We shall.
All right. This one is titled, Am I the Asshole for Not Allowing My Neighbor to Borrow My Car?
Oh boy.
Off the bat, just by the title, I'm like, I've never had a neighbor ask me to, borrow maybe like food items.
I was like, don't say cup of sugar.
I know, I wanted to. If that, but a whole car?
I mean, first of all, and granted, maybe where we grew up was a little more antisocial, but were you ever friends with your neighbors? Like,
I wasn't, but my sister was, because my sister is she's able to be friends with anybody pretty much. So, but for this, let's get into the context. I, 22 female, share a small duplex with a Lydia, 26 female, and ever since moving there with my little sister, 20 female, a lot of people to keep up with. We've hit it off. She was very welcoming and we all got along great. She told us she's an only child. Ooh, red flag right there. No offense to only children, but there tends to be a little bit of an entitlement that can sometimes come along with being an only child. Yeah. And most of her close friends moved out of town a few years ago, so she's been pretty much alone and could use some company.
Oh, I already know this. I could see it play out in front of me. Go on.
Great, so we bonded well. The issue started when she first asked to borrow my car for an appointment she was running late for. The bus stop is about a mile away, and there weren't any taxis around. There's no Uber service in our town. Okay, I apologize if you can hear my air conditioning coming on, just for people listening and watching.
New house.
New house. You know, what are you going to do? It's going to be like that every episode from now on. I agreed, since I didn't have anywhere to go that day and was just going to be home. I don't know why people can't just give rides.
That's the thing. I mean, either drop her off at work or the bus stop if that's something she's used to taking and didn't want to walk the mile over.
If she's running late, that's one thing. You can just take her to her appointment and then she can take the bus back.
Yeah.
She told me she'd be back in less than an hour, so I said okay. She returned the car in one piece, but it took her more than 5 hours to return it. And she used up all my fuel. No. Which I had intended to last my sister and me for the whole week. I mean, come on. Common decency says at least refuel what you used.
Absolutely.
Especially if you didn't hire the car in the first place. And I don't understand why she had the car for nearly 6 hours when she said she'd only need it for 1. That is a little ridiculous. And no text message? No, like, hey,
I'm running late.
I mean, clearly she didn't just go to this appointment. She went here, there, and everywhere, which is not okay because the agreement was you would go to your appointment and come back. Not that you would take my car for joyrides to run errands.
Exactly.
When I asked her about it, her response was she had to visit her mom because she had something really important to tell her, so she drove all the way to the other side of town, and also that she was low on cash and repay the fuel money once she got paid from work. Well, it's been 3 weeks, and I've heard nothing from her. She's been ignoring us for some reason. I wonder what the reason is. It's because she doesn't want to pay the money. This is so passive-aggressive, I can't handle it. Then just 2 days ago, she asked to borrow the car again for another important appointment she was running late for. The audacity. I simply said no, that it wasn't my problem, and that if she really had something important, she should have prepared earlier,
Mm-hmm.
left a few hours in advance, and either walked to the bus stop or caught a cab. I also reminded her that I'm not her family or anything, and she didn't even pay me back for the fuel the first time. Now she's calling me a selfish AH, which I'm assuming stands for asshole, and says that because of me, she missed a really important appointment that cost her a fortune. So am I the asshole?
That cost her a fortune. Hold on. There's no, just the ending alone. The passive manipulative bullshit of, because of you, I missed an important appointment that cost me fortune.
That cost her a fortune. It doesn't even matter what the appointment is. First of all, it is not appropriate to call somebody any name who has helped you out when you did not stick to the boundaries that were put in place, that you yourself put in place. I will only need the car for an hour. Now, I will say this. I think that the boundaries should have been put in place by the person who owns the car beforehand, meaning this is a one-time deal. I'm going to allow you to borrow the car, but this is not going to become a regular thing. Unfortunately, that's what you have to do with people sometimes.
Yeah, it's sadly, because I get she probably had good faith, thinking this neighbor's been cool, we've been getting along, this is, an emergency situation. Like she said, I'm not going anywhere. She's only going to take an hour because that's what she thought. So, she trusted too much that there would be good faith, common sense, and decency from the other person.
That did not happen. But I think you need to put boundaries in place because it's your property. So you tell them the agreement is an hour. If you're wanting gas money for that, that should be told up front. And then you should set a boundary of like, this cannot become a regular thing. I am loaning you this because this is an emergency situation, but this is not something that I'm comfortable with doing again. Or since you're home, not that I'm saying that you had nothing to do, but you could have given her a ride and then allowed her to take the bus home.
That would have been more, because honestly, here's the thing. Even if I became friendly enough with a neighbor, that is my car, that is my insurance. Something happens,
it's on you.
Yeah. So I'm like, I would not take that risk, and I would prefer to drop them off. Whereas, again, because I'm home anyways, it's not like I had to go somewhere myself or had an appointment or anything. Then you have an emergency, I'll take you and drop you off. And since you normally find a way back, that can stay as is. But trusting someone who, even if you guys had become friends, just giving them your car is very risky.
It is extremely risky because you don't know their driving history. You don't know if they're a texter and driver, what the situation is going to be. Plus, you have to consider other drivers on the road. My thing is, to answer the ultimate question, no. I don't even know why this is even a question to begin with. Like, this to me sounds like somebody that, no shade, is a little bit too nice, because how can you even think that in this scenario you are possibly the asshole?
Probably because of the way the neighbor reacted and the shit that they're talking probably has them down. I know, is having them down. She said she's only 22, so she's young.
That's fair.
She's young, and she probably
and the other girl is older.
And if you do tend to be a people pleaser, which I grew up being one, and you feel bad being not nice to people, and then people are calling you a selfish asshole because you didn't do something, even when you feel like what you did was right, you worry and doubt that someone doesn't like you and that maybe you did something wrong, kind of a deal.
Yeah. And maybe I'm just a person of like, girl, you don't owe her anything. If she don't like you, boo-hoo. You survived before she came into your life. You will survive after if somebody does not like you. It reminds me of this episode of Golden Girls where Rose was insistent that somebody in her job who did not like her, she was insistent to win them over to the point where she caused them harm, like physical harm. And it ended with him just being like, why won't you just leave me alone? It's okay that not everybody likes you. Because she's like, everybody likes me kind of thing. It's that mentality. And he's like, well, I've asked you to leave me alone and da 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 da. She's like, if we were friends. And so he was just like, okay, so if I'm your friend and I ask you to leave me alone, will you leave me alone? She said, yeah, I'd have to because we're friends. And then he's like, okay, we're friends. And she was happy. She was happy with the illusion that they were friends and that he liked her, even though deep down inside he did not. But I get it. I am not somebody that functions that way, so I don't have as much empathy for people who do worry about whether or not they're liked. I will say that it's entirely reasonable what she asked for, and it seems to me that this person, based on how she worded this, is the one that offered up the gas money. So even more so, I'm like, you offered to pay her gas money because you knew that you took all her gas and you knew that you used the car way longer than you were supposed to, and you didn't follow through with it. And then you proceeded to not only not follow through with that, but ignore them.
Exactly, for weeks.
And avoid them, and then have the audacity to come back and ask for another favor. Are you kidding me?
That's some balls right there, because the fact that you came back and then not only asked but expected that she would give you the car to borrow, like, wow.
100%, because you don't react the way that she reacted if you didn't have that expectation to begin with of like, oh, she's going to allow me to do it because she allowed me to do it. And this is why you have to put up boundaries from the very beginning, because had she said, this is a one-time deal, I'm going to allow you to use this car, one, you would have seen right away what this person's true colors were.
Because I'm sure there would have been a problem
with that. And two, you already established with them that this is not going to be a reoccurring thing. So they don't have this idea in their head that they're going to be able to use you over and over again whenever they want to. So I do wonder, though, I have one curiosity, and maybe you have this curiosity too. Why the fuck did you not call this girl or track her down after hour one?
Well, I'm like, are you friends enough that you have even each other's numbers? Because they live right next to each other, and that's what.
Girl, she has your car. You better have her number.
I know, but I'm wondering, weirdly enough, if it wasn't something that they had already, it didn't occur to her to make sure to get it before this girl left.
I don't know. That's a mystery.
Because I've known neighbors before, but not to the point that we would have each other's numbers just because we chatted because we live next door, kind of a deal.
But you're smart enough that if they would have come and asked you to use something as intense as a car, you would have gotten their phone number.
Yeah.
For sure. Because if something were to happen and she needs to contact you to let you know, like, hey, I got into a car accident, or hey, this, that, hello, how is she going to do that if you don't have each other's numbers? I would have been blowing up that girl's phone. Where's my car? Where's my car? If you don't return my car, I'm going to file a stolen property report kind of thing. Because I'm like, how do you leave somebody for 5 hours, almost 6 hours, not knowing what the fuck happened? For all she knew, you're dead in a ditch somewhere.
Yeah. It's true.
Her car is totaled. For all, like, it's not just the property. It's the fact that this is somebody who you're at least close enough to loan your car to. You're going to be concerned about the person and what could have possibly happened to them.
Exactly.
I don't know where she got the audacity to take the car beyond this one errand that she asked for, to go across town because she needed to tell her girl, pick up a phone. If you have something important to tell your mom and you don't have the money to physically make it over there, pick up the phone. Because if you're going to use somebody's gas and you don't have the money right then and there to repay them, and this is what I'm talking about with the sense of entitlement. Granted, again, not all only children are like this, but I think that there's a sense of when you have siblings, you know how to share things. And even if you don't like it, you're kind of forced into it. And then I've learned a lot from my older siblings about what to do and what not to do based off of their life experiences as well. I think that there is a little bit of that missing when you don't have other siblings, because everything is for you, everything is about you. And that's not your fault necessarily. It is your parents' duty and job to teach you how to be considerate of other people. This is a complete lack of consideration, but also a huge sense of entitlement.
Yes. I basically learned everything I needed to know about this person from just everything that came out of their mouth, how they reacted, what they did. I was like, oh, okay, you're that person. Got it. So, no, you are not the asshole at all.
No.
At all.
Not even a little bit. I feel like before this neighbor ever moved into this duplex, you were doing fine getting around somehow. So there's really no excuse for you to be like, oh, I was running later. One time, I understand. But then if it becomes a perpetual habit of you just not prioritizing your time correctly to get to the bus on time, that's a you problem.
No, she absolutely was thinking that she was going to have now a free ride and be able to convince the neighbor to borrow the car anytime she wanted.
Which is so selfish to not consider the other person's economic situation.
Yeah, she didn't care. Yep.
She's like, oh, free gas.
Exactly.
Free ride.
Oh, did I screw you and your sister over? Now you guys don't have gas for the week? Oops.
Sorry, not sorry.
Can I borrow it again?
Yeah. We know who the asshole is in this situation. It's not the girl with the car.
Nope.
Your turn.
Yeah, boy. Okay, next. Am I the asshole for refusing to babysit my sister's miracle baby after what she did to my dog?
Ooh.
I'm so curious. What did she do to the dog?
I will just say already from the title, I already have a thing with parents and thinking that their children are the center of everybody's universe, not just their own.
Yeah.
But the fact that this is a miracle baby,
even more so.
Oh my God.
They probably are like, how could you not do anything I ask? I had this miracle baby, and you're my sister. This is your miracle niece or nephew.
Go on.
Oh goodness, here we go.
Yep.
So my sister, 32 female, had a baby last year after years of struggling with infertility. We were all happy for her. She called him her miracle baby, and honestly, I didn't mind the attention he got until things got weird. I, 28 female, have a golden retriever named Benny. He's 5. Sweetest boy alive. Everyone in the family loves him. Even my sister used to, until the baby came along. Oh God. One time I brought Benny over when I visited. He stayed on his mat, didn't bark or even move. The baby started crying and my sister went, I think he's making the baby nervous, and asked me to put him outside in the middle of winter. I said no and left early. That was strike one. Next time I saw her, she told me straight up she didn't want Benny around her son because he's a dog. I said, okay, whatever, and stopped bringing him. But I could tell something shifted. Then one day, I was out of town for a weekend and she begged me to let her stay at my place because hers was getting fumigated. I agreed, thinking it was chill. Oh God. I came home Sunday night. Benny is hiding under the bed, trembling, looking all scared. I find out she locked him in the laundry room for 2 days straight because he was staring too much and that made the baby fussy. No food or water bowl, just locked him. Oh, I'm gonna.
That's animal cruelty.
I'm gonna shank someone. I lost it.
Yeah, this is Desiree's soft spot when it comes to animals. So yeah, this is.
I lost it. Told her she was never setting foot in my house again, and that she was lucky I didn't call animal services.
Yeah.
Fast forward a month, she's going back to work, and suddenly I'm her first choice for free childcare. Wants me to watch her baby 2 days a week. I said no. She flipped and called me bitter and selfish. Oh, here's that word again. And said I clearly didn't understand what it means to love family unconditionally. My mom got involved and said I'm being cruel when I could be helping. But this isn't just about a dog. It's about how she treated something I love without remorse and now expects me to drop everything and help her like nothing happened. Am I the asshole for saying no to babysitting my nephew because of what she did to my dog?
Absolutely not. Go ahead. Ooh. I know you have things to say.
The boiling.
I'm like bouncing.
The boiling rage.
Yeah.
And this is wild to me. Someone who supposedly loves, if you love a child, and granted, it's not that, if you love children, then that means you should love animals. But how can you supposedly love and be so nurturing that you're so enamored that you have this opportunity to mother this miracle baby, but you can treat an animal, an innocent animal, you put that dog in the laundry room for 2 damn days without food and water. I'm sure he was barking or whimpering, and then you traumatized him because when she comes back home, he's under the bed trembling, scared. So now that dog has trauma because of you. And that's not something that can easily be fixed for an animal. Oh my God. No, I'm sorry.
The rage.
That says a lot about you as a human being, period.
Because it was all about the child. And if you watched our first episode of Am I the Asshole, there's a very similar story. Have you ever noticed that the person who's always like, oh, you don't love family unconditionally, or you're not going to be there for family, is always the one that actually doesn't do that themselves and always is expecting their sibling or some family member to just bend over backwards for them, even though they wouldn't reciprocate that? It's always that person who's like, oh, you're selfish, you're this, you're that. The thing that pisses me out, her word choice of bitter. And I'm like, first of all, why bitter of all of the adjectives that you could have used to describe her? My thing is like, this is again a perfect example of somebody who has a child and thinks that the entire world and everybody's world revolves around you, specifically this child, but you and this child. And that everybody needs to bend over backwards for you and this child, especially because it's a miracle baby. I have so much sympathy for people who struggle with fertility. I think that everybody who wants to be a parent should be a parent, and something like your body not allowing that to happen can be very frustrating. It can be very traumatic. So I want to give her a little bit of a benefit of the doubt that she was, and especially being a first-time mother, very freaked out about the fact that she wasn't able to have a child and now she was, and there is this like sort of helicopter mom sort of feeling that I get from her of just hovering and wanting to protect this child. But you're conjuring up things that don't exist.
The dog was staring?
Not even that the dog was staring, because that can happen. My dog stares at me all the time. I mean, to the point where I have to tell him to get a life. First of all, that is not harming your child. Your child's an infant. That early on, they can't even focus on objects yet. Like, most of what they see is just like blurred shapes and things like that. This child has no awareness that this dog is staring at them. So the fact that she not only made it an issue, but then she placed emotions on her child that do not exist, of the child being nervous and fussy because of the dog, is not happening. This child isn't even aware of the dog, isn't even aware of its full existence yet.
Fuzziness could have been that they had gas. Like,
there could have been a million different reasons. The baby could have had colic, the baby could have been hungry, the baby maybe needed to be changed, a million different reasons. But you're projecting. You're projecting your fears onto this animal, this poor defenseless animal. It's one thing for her to not bring the dog over to your house. That's totally fine. And she was fine with that.
Yeah, she was.
You don't want to be bringing a dog? I won't bring my dog.
Exactly.
But for you to come into her home, and I do wonder what the conversation was, because if you were gone for 2 whole days, like, who was watching your dog? Was this an arrangement that you made of like, oh, you can come stay at my house, but the agreement is that you watch my dog? Now, I'm going to play a little devil's advocate, which is usually your role. I know. But if you knew how your sister was already reacting towards this dog, why in the hell would you leave your dog with her? There's no way in hell. If she was willing to put your dog out of her house for literally no reason, because your dog didn't do anything, didn't even get near the child, in the dead of winter, why would you think that she would be a good caretaker for your dog?
Because even if the sister made a 180 when the house conversation happened and was like, no, I got it, I'll take care of him and blah, 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 I'm going to be in your house, I'll do it. Yeah. Would you trust that, already seeing her previous behavior with your dog.
No, not at all. Because it's not just that she wanted to put the dog out, but then she was saying that she didn't want the dog to be near her child. If she's going to be in your home with her child, what do you think how do you think she's going to feel? Just because she's in your home doesn't mean that all of a sudden she's going to change her mind. The levels of cruelty, though, the fact that you didn't even put a water bowl or a food bowl in there for that dog.
Like, did you even take that dog out to use the restroom that whole 2 days? Like,
But I do put some of the blame on the owner because, one, you knew her mentality towards this dog. I would never have left my dog with this woman, even if it was my sister, knowing how her attitude had changed towards the dog. And then, two, I wonder if your sister hadn't called, where would you have put the dog? Were you just going to leave the dog in the house for 2 days with food and water and just be like, hope for the best?
No, I would think she would have probably either had someone coming over to do it, or maybe she would have done what you guys do and put them up. Yeah. But then figured, or maybe the sister convinced her to save money and not do that because she was going to be in the house anyway. But again, would you have trusted after already seeing her behavior, even if she offered to take care of the dog while she's there?
If this dog is like your child, essentially your baby, you want to make sure that they're being really well taken care of. And I understand not everybody has the option of like boarding your dog, depending on the situation, could be traumatic too. I would have just gone ahead with the plans that I already had
instead of counting on
and instead of counting on my sister. It's one thing to give her a place to stay, but it's another thing for her to have given her the responsibility of taking care of the dog as well. Because had she had somebody coming over to take care of the dog, then they would have seen the condition of what the dog was like, would have contacted her, and she could have probably like mitigated that situation day one instead of 2 days of the dog pretty much being traumatized. Now, the fact that the dog was under the bed means that she let that dog out.
Right, before the sister was coming. Yes.
Because she knew that she had fucked up.
Yeah.
That all is bad in and of itself. But then to have the audacity to expect free childcare.
Twice a week, every week. Like, she came already with this stipulation in mind. And then again, which we talked about the previous episode of Am I the Asshole? The just assumption that you're my sister, so you're going to do it. You're going to give me free childcare twice a week, every week. Like, it was an automatic, God forbid, you have no choice, because denial or not accepting for whatever reason will make you a bitter and selfish person.
Let me tell you, my sister has 4 children, all close together. Well, not all close together in age. The first 2 are close together age, and the last 2 are close together in age. My sister has never asked me to babysit, ever. I don't think ever. I've volunteered, offered, never expected any type of payment because I'm offering that. And even still, she struggles with like not wanting to take advantage and things like that. That's the type of relationship that you should have with your family members, of like, you have autonomy, you're your own person. And it's not just the assumption of free childcare. It's the assumption like, oh, you have nothing better to do because you're childless.
No, and I was even seeing on social media how that was going around. Let's normalize, just because they don't have plans doesn't mean that they're free. Like, their time, you don't get to assume what someone's going to do with their time. Just because I don't have specific plans doesn't mean I don't need to just lay on that bed and stare at the wall for 8 hours so that I can function the next day. That's none of your business. And I have every right to own that time, even if to you I'm doing absolutely nothing. So I should be available to you because of that.
And granted, she hasn't said anything in this post about how she feels about children, whether or not she wants to have children. But if she doesn't currently have children, if she has not made the decision to have children, you're pretty much asking her to be a part-time parent 2 days a week.
Yeah, every week.
That's every week for, I don't know, the foreseeable future. That's part-time parenting.
Yeah.
Also, where is your husband in all of this?
I mean, I'm assuming there isn't one then, maybe. Or that's a whole other discussion. If there
isn't a husband, there's a baby daddy. So where is his involvement in this? Why can't he do that? Or your mother?
Well, again, and the fact that the mother was brought up also in this scenario to come and berate the child who was technically the one who was done wrong, first of all.
Exactly.
And there was no support about that whatsoever. It was just
None.
because it's automatically assumed the sibling with the child is the superior one, and we should all be available to bow down to them, and you should love family unconditionally, quote quote, and be available no matter what, whenever. And that's very toxic behavior. That's not healthy. And again, a lot of people haven't learned to put up boundaries with families because that's a very taboo concept still to many.
Yeah.
And considered offensive if you have boundaries.
I mean, it sounds like she did. At the end, she's like, you'll never come over my house. You'll never blah, blah, blah. And she said no to the child watching, which more power to you. Absolutely. I would have said no too.
Yeah.
And it's not even just because of, and she even said, it's not even because of what she did to my dog. It's the lack of care of something that belongs to me that I care about and that I love.
Yeah.
How can you say that I'm not there for family and I don't love unconditionally when I gave you the responsibility of taking care of something that means a lot to me?
Exactly.
And it didn't sound like there was an apology or any remorse about what she had done because, oh, the child takes precedent. I'll be perfectly honest. I'm not the type of person that personifies animals and, you know, my animal is my child kind of thing. Like,
she's
we joke about that.
Heather has a very, like, healthy detachment to her pets and things. I'm probably way more like, oh my God, I love you. And I will feel too bad about, is there something wrong? Why are you looking at me like that?
It's so funny too because I talked to my therapist about this. She's like, we often project our own things onto our animals. I do wonder if like a reason why a lot of animals have anxiety is because of their owners having anxiety and projecting that anxiety onto their dogs. But all that to say is that I have a very like, in what my opinion is healthy relationship with my dog and boundaries with my dog. So I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, pets, they're everything. And they're on the same level as human born children. But that's not the point. It's not about who's more important. It's about respecting this person's beloved animal and taking care of them the way that you would take care of anything that you care about. Regardless of the fact that it's an animal versus it's beyond me.
Like I said, Heather has a detachment. But if there was an animal whimpering, locked in a closet with no food, she's going to feel bad and upset about that. She's going to have some sympathy.
Oh, I'm going to be pissed and angry.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've gotten pissed and angry at people before over my dog. Like I had a neighbor in the previous place that we lived. I was taking my dog to the mailbox. He was on a leash, acting totally fine. Most of the time, my dog George does not acknowledge other dogs. He does not care. He's an old man. He's not interested. This woman had her dog on her little porch. It's like a 3-step onto this little porch area where the door is. She was sitting down. The dog was sitting down. Her dog was a smaller dog. Mine is a pit bull mix. I understand the stigma, whatever. So her dog was not leashed. My dog was. He was on the other side of me. So I am closer to them than my dog is. We walked towards the mailbox. Nothing. On the way back, there's a woman that's sitting with the person who lives there. And she's like, oh, is he? Mind you, her dog started going off. My dog still has not barked, has not lunged, has not even acknowledged that this dog exists. We're just walking by. Oh, is your dog nice? And I'm like, bitch. I'm like, first of all, your dog is the dog that's not leashed, which I get it. You're on your porch, whatever. But your dog can run off. There's no gate there. Your dog can run towards my dog at any moment. You're not holding your dog. You're not doing anything. If you're so scared for your dog's safety, why are you not holding your dog? And my dog is minding his own fucking business. Stuff like that pisses me off because it's completely unwarranted. So I will get defensive. And if I see a dog in distress, I will do something because I'm a fucking human being. What the hell?
I'm like, that worries me about just the state of your humanity a little.
And it's not just how you treat your own child. It's like, how are you going to treat other people's kids? How are you going to treat other people's things? It's like your child is going to grow up and they're going to have playmates. They're going to have friends. I would not trust my child with you if your child is going to take precedent over everything and everyone. And no, sorry. Moving on. God,
I know.
Yeah. That one really got me mad.
Same.
Am I the asshole for telling my new work colleague that she has no right to control our office habit? I always feel like these stories, it's never the person who's telling the story that's the asshole. Is that like a common theme?
I don't know, because there were some when we were doing them for the Writers React channel. There were some where the person was the asshole.
I want to get those next
I know.
time. I want
to find those.
I want to find those. All right. I, 35 male, have been working in this office. We recently hired a new girl, 25 female, and she sits diagonally in front of me so I can see her at my desk and vice versa. We are around 1 meter apart. Already I can tell they don't live in the US because they're using...
I'm like, what?
She's been working for 3 weeks and has been trying to control our office habit based on her liking. Let's see what he means by this. This might be the one where we're like, no, actually, it's you, buddy. Here are the issues that has been happening and what triggered me to do what I did. No, what did he do? Number 1, I have an unhealthy eating habit and snacking a lot during work. She mentioned twice, jokingly said how I tempted her for eating cakes and how can I stay skinny even though I eat like pigs. That's not okay. I offered her some. She refused, saying she's trying to lose weight. Fine, I stopped snacking on my desk. No, you didn't have to do that. But my other colleagues and I still have lunch at desk when we are quite busy. Then by the end of the first week, she reported to HR and said people should not have lunch or eat at desk. This is very poorly written, so excuse me while I struggle, because should not have lunch or eat at desk instead of eat at their desk, because it can be unhygienic and the crumbs might fall into the keyboard and attract bugs. Desiree's got a thing with bugs.
I can see... Not one. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, but are they like, like, I'm sure they're eating normally.
She said they eat like pigs, which is a horrible thing.
I think that was more about the type of food that they eat rather than how they eat.
Okay.
She also mentioned how she was annoyed by me eating ice cream, cakes, bread, etc. during work hours, and it disturbed her because she's trying hard to lose weight. That has nothing to do with him.
That's not your problem, buddy. That's her own problem. Yeah.
So HR sent us all emails, and now everyone in the office, everyone can no longer eat anything on our desk. 2, on her second day, she complained that the girl that sits next to her, Jane, was using a very strong perfume and the scent nauseated her. I already hate this girl.
No.
Jane did wear strong perfume indeed, but it wasn't that horrible. All of us could tolerate Jane, and suddenly, because this new girl couldn't tolerate her, Jane was the one that has to change. 3, he's got a list. Between our team, 6 of us collect $10 weekly to buy lottery. One of the guys in our team is Muslim and he doesn't gamble, so he never participated, but yet he never discouraged or criticized us. We offered this girl to join us and she criticized us about how gambling is bad. Oh my God. This is a Karen.
Yeah.
This is a young Karen.
Oh God.
This is how gambling is bad, saying it's very unprofessional to be collecting money to gamble in an office environment. I can kind of understand that.
Yeah.
It is not something to be doing during work hours.
You're not the manager or owner of that place. That's not your business to be,
She actually brought this to HR. Oh, she is such a Karen. She's like, can I speak to your manager? But instead it's HR. Arguing the harm and risk of it if we happen to win millions of dollars.
What?
And did a mass exodus, it would be harmful for the company. Oh,
wow.
This bitch. Luckily, HR didn't do anything about it. Yeah, because they can't. I mean, that's not an incentive enough to...
No.
She literally is throwing them under the bus hard. 4, the Muslim guy prays twice a day in our stationary room. I don't like that he refers to him as the Muslim guy.
I know, but I'm worried about where this is going. Bitch.
Unfortunately, we don't have praying room in the office. He has got his praying mat and some other stuff in our stationary room, and it has been there since I started working. She suggested him to move it to somewhere else oh my God, this is so poorly written. You have to forgive me. She suggested him to move it somewhere else as he shouldn't put personal belongings in a common area. She told the other girl in our team that the old mat was not pleasant to look at. Okay, what happened today? Our desk layout is shaped like an L, and my desk is next to a glass window. In our team, there are 7 people excluding her, and all of us are sun haters. We always pull down the shades, especially the guys sitting on the other corner. They said if the window is open, the sun would glare on their computer screens in the afternoon and make it so they can't see their screens very well. This girl has been complaining how our corner is too dark and gives bad vibes, and she needs to have the shades opened up. work from home.
Yeah.
Because, like, this is too much. She mentioned how the sun will make people happier and increase productivity.
Oh my God.
I couldn't stand her anymore, so I stood up from my desk and I said, I didn't yell, so he did not yell this. Look, insert her name. You have been here for less than a month, but you keep telling us what to do. We have been changing our habits to accommodate you, but then you keep pushing things. You can't keep telling us what to do. I think the best thing is for you to move to sit where the HR people sit because it's always right there and you're closer with them than to us anyway. That is the perfect shade because of how many times she's run to HR. She then said, I hate women.
What?
This is
wait,
this
wait,
is
wait,
the
wait,
type
wait,
of
wait,
women.
wait. She said?
Yeah. She then said, I hate women and I'm bullying her, and she's telling her manager
that he
and HR
hates
about
that
this.
he hates women. Oh,
yeah.
Oh God.
Am I the asshole here? Did I bully her? Is it acceptable for new hires to tell older colleagues to do these things?
Holy shit. This isn't even. Here's the thing. I thought she was gonna come in and just be like, hey, we should have a water tank. Not like day 1, day 2, day 3.
Here's my thing. It's not just the way that she is picky about so many things that I'm like, honey, you are in a work environment with other people. You're going to have to learn to compromise, or you need to get a remote job and work from home so you can have the perfect environment and setup. Because there's never going to be a situation in which you like everything that goes on in your office. That just does not exist.
No.
And this sounds like a person that is very much used to getting her way, but also is extremely manipulative because she's upset about the fact that this guy was eating a bunch of junk food because of the fact that she was trying to lose weight and it was tempting her. First of all, your self-control is your problem.
Mm-hmm.
Your response to him eating is your responsibility. It's your problem.
Mm-hmm.
He can eat whatever the fuck he wants and you can have self-control.
Yes.
And if it's tempting to you, look somewhere else. I don't know what to tell you. You should be focusing on your computer anyway and not on whether somebody is eating or not. Look, I have ADHD. Mouth noises drive me insane. So I would probably be annoyed for a different reason if he's like over there smacking his gums, eating all day. And you know what I would do? I would put in headphones. Mm-hmm. Or I would, get ear plugs that allowed me to hear if somebody's talking to me, but wouldn't allow some of that other noise to get in. I would not expect this person to just stop eating and snacking just because of an issue that I have, which clearly it's her issue. But it's very clear to me that she's manipulative because when she went to HR, she made it about how it was unhygienic, which is not what her issue is. That's not her main issue. Her main issue is that she didn't want to have to see this guy eating. And it's clear based off of what she said that he's not a overweight person, but even if he was, you should never be commenting on somebody's body. Ever. The fact that she was just like, how are you eating like a pig and you still are fit or whatever is none of your goddamn business.
Yeah, you don't say that. That was not okay to say, period.
And it's not okay to call somebody a pig just because of the type of food that they enjoy eating. It is absolutely none of your business what they put into their mouth. It's none of your business how they look. And it's not for you to be commenting on. The fact that she took it to HR was very Karen of her.
Goodness. And multiple stupid issues that were not, like the gambling. Okay, morally, there could be some things said about that, but that technically wasn't affecting, that was almost like a side thing between the office. That wasn't affecting them doing their jobs or anything related to the business. But she manipulated it, like you said, into this whole, because what if they win millions and then there's a mass exodus and then that's not good for the company?
Exactly, which is not what she said to him. She said that gambling was bad and it was a moral issue, but she knew that if she went to HR and she said that it was a moral issue, that they wouldn't do shit about it because you don't have the right, and neither does HR have the right to dictate morality. And your morality is not something that you can shove down other people's throats. So if you think it's bad, that's good for you. That's none of your business. I am shocked that they even tried to include her in this. Yeah, I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Because she has clearly shown, I mean, she had 2 other incidences before this, the one with the food and the one with the perfume. So the fact that they even tried to include her in this shows that they were trying to get along with her, even though she was making it virtually impossible for them. Oh my God. When she goes to HR, she always has a different story than what she tells her coworker. And she knows in order to get what she wants, she has to put up a good argument, even if the argument's a complete bullshit. So she puts up the argument of like, oh, it's not in the best interest of the company. Now, luckily, HR saw through that shit and they didn't do anything about it. But the fact that she continues to go to them so that she can get what she wants is just so unbearable.
And who does that? Like, HR should be the last resort unless it's a very serious, harmful issue. There are in-betweens before you go to HR. I have worked in corporate businesses, and I don't know if I ever, other than when I needed to get hired, saw HR, because you don't go to them just willy-nilly over any little shit. That's like only when necessary, a situation has escalated to something serious that you then go to HR. You have your manager, you have other people,
supervisor.
Yes, there are other people in between you would go to first. That was ridiculous that she felt so comfortable to just go straight to HR with every little complaint. And then don't get me started on, because I know he didn't elaborate on it, but I can already imagine the discomfort she brought the man who is Muslim. It's already difficult enough that they need to ask for the space and time to be able to do the prayers that they need to do that are usually in the middle of the day. So they do have to happen inconveniently during work hours, inconveniently for everyone else during work hours. And that's a big ask that they have to always do whenever they are in a work setting situation. And the fact that at least they gave the person a space for that was awesome. And for her to bring attention to that, first of all. And then her stupid comment about like pretty much making fun of like, oh, the mat was dirty and whatever to the other coworker or whatnot.
It was unsightly.
Oh my God.
And the thing too is like, so obviously it is not affecting you in any way. Had that been a cross or something of that nature, I bet this bitch would not have had an issue with it whatsoever.
At all.
Because it's not affecting her in any way. It's not preventing her from doing her job. It's discrimination is what it is. But of course, she's not going to come right out because she's manipulative and say that she just doesn't like the fact that this man who is Muslim is practicing his religion during work hours. It makes her uncomfortable, and that she's hateful and does not believe in religious freedom. No, she's going to make it about the fact that you shouldn't have personal belongings in common areas.
It's the manipulation of how she words things. It's wild.
Oh, yeah. Ooh. And this is how I know that this is a person who has gotten used to getting what they want, because she is good at the tactics. She knows exactly what to say and how to say it in order to make her look like it's a completely reasonable request. We shouldn't have personal belongings in the common areas. That's just what it is. It has nothing to do with the fact that he's Muslim. It has nothing to do with the fact that his mat is what it is. And we know that it's not true.
Yeah.
We know that it's not true, and it's bullshit. And at the end of the day, the thing that pisses me off probably the most after the situation with this guy and his prayer mat is the fact that when this man who wrote this Reddit thread stood up to her because he had had enough, and honestly, good for him, she goes right to, you hate women. This is the type of bullshit that undermines real victims of harassment, undermines women's legitimate complaints, especially a workplace harassment. This is like, I just want to wring her neck for basically giving ammo to all the misogynists out there that say that women's complaints are not legitimate, that they go right to man-hating, that they go right to this and that to get what they want, that it's manipulation. And it is manipulation, I agree. In this situation, she is being manipulative because it has nothing to do with the fact that she's a woman. It has to do with the fact that she is intolerable. But the fact that the first thing that flew out of her mouth was, you hate women and you're bullying me? No, bitch, you're the bully.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You are the workplace bully.
Absolutely. Exactly. It's very much shot the argument in the foot that we all stand for, that we all try to bring attention to, and her whining with that false stupidity And the argument that you hate women as like her jab to defend herself or defend her actions, it makes us all look bad for sure. And it's really annoying and obnoxious. I've always been one who has said that when it came to the resurgence of the feminist movement years ago, that those who played the man-hating card was not beneficial to us, because that is not what feminism is. It's not man-hating. That's not what that means. It's us wanting equal rights for people, period. And point.
Both men and
exactly. Women. So it's more her actions and clearly who she is as a person, that she is using people, manipulating them, and very much selfish, trying to arrange everyone's life to fit her own conveniences, which is horrible.
It is. And I'm not about that. And this is why initially I was all for the girls girl movement. You know, like, I'm a girls girl, I'm pro women, and I very much am that. But it got to a ridiculous point at one point where you were not allowed to say anything negative about women. You were not allowed to call women out and keep them accountable.
I never believed in that. And that was one of the things.
I'm sorry.
I used to stay quiet about that because I didn't agree with that. Funny enough, a YouTuber I just saw recently was watching the show You with the stalker guy or the killer.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if she said it jokingly or she meant it, but she was like, I'm a girl's girl, even when they do the wrongs, like, I'll defend them and whatnot. And I was like, see, I've never agreed with that. I will be a girl's girl. I will be a woman supporting women. But at the end of the day, if you need to be held accountable for doing wrong, I'm not going to support you just because you're a woman. I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that either. And that, it kind of goes along with things that we've said in previous episodes of where a movement, a very positive movement starts, and then it gets way blown out of proportion. It gets taken to an extreme level, and that's never where it was intended to go. That movement of like being a girl's girl was intended to empower women of like, I'm not going to be jealous of you. I'm not going to try to tear you down. I'm not going to throw you under the bus. I'm going to root for you. But that doesn't mean that we go to the extreme of like, you can act however you want. You can kill and I'll help you bury the body. No.
I will support no matter what.
That's toxicity. If I have a friend in my life and I care about them and I want the best for them and they're doing something that is destructive to themselves or to others, I'm going to let them know because that is not the best for them. And if I support them in being destructive and toxic towards themselves or towards anybody else, I am not a true friend. I am not a true girl's girl at the end of the day, because that shit has consequences. Yes. And at the end of the day, if I am really trying to help my friend or another woman out, I'm going to let that be known that their actions have consequences. And I'm going to try to help to prevent those consequences from happening, not by covering up their dirty laundry, but by holding them accountable to their actions. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? Like, we as a feminist, I want to hold men accountable for their actions, but I'm not going to hold other women. Like, how is that equity and equality? No. We have to hold everybody, whether you're male, female, non-binary, whatever, accountable for your actions. Like, that is just common sense decency. Yeah. And so
us supporting bad behavior doesn't actually help in the long term the whole cause of wanting to empower women supporting women. You're actually doing more harm because you're pretty much whittling down the reputation of women by allowing women who have bad behavior get away with it and publicly support it because you're women supporting women, a girl's girl. That's doing more harm than good at the end of the day for women. So that's not the best tactic whatsoever, and that's not what we want in the world.
No, and I don't support that at all, because situations like this, if I'm one of those girls and I'm going to support her no matter whether she's in the wrong or right, what she's doing is negatively impacting women. Because she's crying wolf, and so when a woman is actually in a situation where she is being harassed or bullied, this is the exact example that misogynists will bring up to invalidate women. And this is extremely harmful for victims of harassment. Yes. This is extremely harmful for women. And if I'm really a girl's girl, I'm not just going to sit by and allow that to happen. Now, granted, she's an adult. She can do her own things. But I can call out those things and tell her it is not okay, not associate myself with that behavior.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, absolutely not. He is not the asshole in this situation. Honestly, your manager, HR, y'all need to gather together and go to the appropriate people, because at this point there are probably multiple people in that office that have issues with her or feel harassed by her, and this is a new hire. The fact that she even comes into this work environment a brand new person, hasn't even established anything, any relationship yet, or even her work, and feels that she has the right to do all of this, to completely change everything that's happening around her.
Like,
from week one. That's where I'm like, no. This has got to be nipped in the butt, because if she continues to get away with this, it will never end. It will never end.
And then people are going to start quitting. And then that's not going to be good for anyone.
Yeah.
All right, friends. It's been an emotional hour. Let's see. Last, am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for not being grateful for my birthday surprise? This could go so many ways. Here we go. I have been crying for hours yesterday and today, receiving texts on how I am ungrateful. This shit just doesn't make sense to me. I am trying to see the good intentions, but call me blind because I don't see any. I have never had a birthday party or dinner, and it is something that I have always wanted, but I don't know why I always thought it was unattainable in my adult life. I was talking to my friend and telling her how my family never celebrates birthdays because my dad is really religious, and how I always feel lonely on my birthday. She asked me why I didn't celebrate my birthday now that I was an adult. And I thought, yeah, why don't I celebrate myself now that I am grown? I planned myself a birthday dinner at a fancy restaurant and told everyone that as long as they kept their order under $35, I would pay for it. Damn.
On your own birthday? Okay. I guess if you organized it.
So I made sure to work overtime for 3 months in advance because I heard there is always a fight about the bill. So I didn't want that to be a reason for conflict on my birthday. This is like a first time experience for them too. Oof. Yeah. And she invited 12 people. So she was going to pay for all 12 and herself.
This is a disaster.
Yeah, I know. That said they would come, family and friends, which include my mom. Now that my dad is dead, she is no longer super religious for some reason. Yesterday, I had my nails, makeup, and hair done professionally. I just wanted to look really nice, and I have actually only been to formal events like 3 times in my life. So I was happy to be able to dress up nicely for once. I got to my dinner, sat at my table, and waited 2 hours. And I kept getting calls from people telling me they were running late to not being able to come anymore. And after 2 hours, everyone finally told me they were not coming. All of them? They didn't tell me before the dinner. They were all telling me at the time of reservation or later. The waiter felt so bad because I was crying while I was on the phone with someone I considered to be my friend, telling me she wasn't coming for me and that even though I didn't order a meal, he gave me a free birthday slice. Oh, the waiter. Yeah. I didn't even get any pictures in my outfit because I thought someone would help me take them for me at the restaurant, and by the time I left the restaurant, my makeup was ruined. My mom called me on my way home and asked me to stop at her house because she had a present for me. Wasn't her mom supposed to show up? She says,
I know exactly where this is going.
Oh no.
You just figured it out,
Yes,
right?
I did. Oh no. She says she is sorry she didn't come, but she was feeling extremely unwell. Oh guys, this was a bad idea. And she wanted to have a present at least. I go to her house. I open the door to a surprise, and people see that my face was messed up because I had been crying. So someone says, oh, she thought we forgot her. And I look at the 12 people that were invited to my dinner and am just disappointed that they traded what I wanted for my birthday for this. They left me stranded and humiliated at a restaurant for hours. I left the surprise party after 5 minutes and they told my mom to keep her present to herself. I am sorry, but am I the asshole for not seeing a good intention here? Am I overreacting?
It's not... It's not that they didn't... It's not even about intention at that point.
No.
That was poorly executed. I get seeing a friend planning a whole birthday thing for themselves and going, I want to do something for them.
Okay.
I get that. But why the fuck would you do it like that? You left her in the restaurant for 2 hours thinking that... See, I don't get this I don't get this because people do this a lot. This thing of like, they give you bad news to surprise you. It's like those pranks on YouTube where somebody smashes your phone to then give you a new phone.
Yeah, no.
The fact that you gave somebody a new phone does not negate the moment that you took their phone and you smashed it and they had no idea that you were giving them a new phone. Some people might be able to transition feelings really quickly and be like, oh, it's all good. Not everybody can do
I'm
that.
not one of those. My mom is.
Me neither.
My mom is, and I'm not. She can get into a whole argument and 2 seconds later be over it like nothing happened. You messed with my emotions. It's going to take me a minute.
No, I can't do that either. And the thing too is like, I don't get the whole like, let me do something awful to then do something nice. That's like giving somebody an underhanded compliment. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. If you wanted to throw her a surprise party, there were so many things that you could have done differently. Yeah. You could have done it the day before. You could have been like, hey, come over. Or you could have done it an hour before your reservation. No, well, she's all dressed up, ready to go. And then you go, oh, hey, I have a gift for you. Can you come over? And then surprise. And then she doesn't have to use the money that she's been saving up for. And then you can be like, you should use that money on yourself. Buy yourself something really nice. You left her for 2 hours thinking that everybody had abandoned her. As somebody who's had terrible birthdays before, where people have like completely disregarded my feelings, it really sucks to think that people are not showing up for you. And then the reaction when she walks through the door of like, oh, she thinks we forgot her. No, bitch, she thought you abandoned her. There's a difference.
Yes. And that's the thing. I'm like, someone had to know that she had been working overtime for 3 months. And the reason why, even if everyone invited maybe wasn't the closest of friends to have known these details, someone, her mom, somebody had to have known how much she had worked to pay. The fact that she was willing to pay for 12 people and herself at a fancy restaurant for her birthday so that people would come, because she had never experienced anything like this before and really wanted to make it a memorable experience. And again, you knew what time she expected everyone to be there. What did you guys think was going to happen if you waited 2 hours to get her to the surprise party?
Do you know how humiliating that is to be sitting at a table for 12 people waiting for 2 hours, watching people come and go, eat their meals, knowing that the waiter took pity on her? Like, it is so humiliating what they did to her. And then to expect her to suddenly be able to switch gears as soon as she walked into the room and realized that they had thrown this awful surprise for her. No, I'm sorry. No. If you wanted to surprise her, why not go show up to the fucking restaurant and say, I'll pay for myself. And hey, guess what? I'll pay for you as well.
Yeah.
Because it's your birthday. And then to do this to her after learning that she had not celebrated a birthday for pretty much her entire adult life, and that her birthdays when she was a child were unpleasant because of her father. It's just so like, this poor girl, like she's never going to want to celebrate a birthday after this again.
Absolutely not. Like, my anxiety would have been through the fucking roof with panic attacks sitting there for 2 hours. The anxiety of the waiter passing by, because you know they have to pass by to check on you every so often because it's their job, and they can't just leave you lingering there. Oh my God.
Some restaurants won't even seat you if you don't have the full party there.
Yeah. And she got her nails, her makeup, her hair professionally done,
which she cried off. So also she gets to her mom's house thinking that it's just going to be her and her mom, and that she's in this very vulnerable state.
And everyone has to see her now like that.
And everybody has to see her, which is also humiliating. Especially they were, oh, she thought we forgot her.
That's a slap in the face.
Fucking mascara running down her. No, I'm sorry. I wouldn't have stayed either.
No, absolutely
I wouldn't
not.
have stayed.
No. I would have been like, you know what? Fuck y'all, peace.
Like... The fact that she even endured it for 5 minutes, I just like, not one single person in this entire 12-person group thought that this was a bad idea.
For real.
Not one person. This is the kind of the question that I have when you see an ad or a commercial and it gets backlash for some reason, and you're thinking, wow, this went through so many people before it was published or before it aired,
and
nobody thought this was a bad idea. Not one single even intern was like, actually, that looks very phallic. I don't think that that's appropriate for a children's ad, or like,
exactly.
No. Not one single person in this entire group thought this was a bad idea, because had it been me and whoever organized this decided, whether it was her mom or her other family members, I would have been like, this is a bad idea. And if they would have still been like, no, it's fine, it's gonna be fine, I would have blew up their spot so fast. I would have called my homie, like my homie. I would have called my homegirl, and I would have been like, hey, this is what they're planning on doing, just so you know. Don't even bother showing up at the restaurant, kind of thing, because I would not allow my friend who I cared about, or my family member who I loved, to sit in a restaurant for 2 hours thinking that she's been abandoned on her birthday
all after 12 people.
After having, do you know how many phone conversations she had to have with people going, I'm running late, oh, I'm not coming, oh, and then also thinking to herself, wow, I'm really not a priority to these people, because I'm sure that it sounded like some of the excuses that the people were giving were bullshit. Like, you're just not important enough for me to show up for you. That's kind of the feeling that it gave. I would never allow somebody that I care about to go through that. I just, like, where was everybody's brains?
I don't know, but that was horrible. Horrible execution, horribly planned. I wouldn't even say thought out, because it wasn't thought out. It just, oh, that poor girl. She's never gonna trust doing anything for her birthday again.
Part of me wonders, I'm like, I really hope that they were just running really behind, and that's why she had to sit for 2, because I'm just thinking, like, why would you allow her to sit at a restaurant for 2 hours waiting for you? Like, she wasn't at home waiting. She was at this restaurant. She was in a public place. Like, I just can't imagine. It's just...
And then what were the restaurant consequences for being there for 2 hours without technically ordering anything? Like, there's so many things. It was so bad. It was so bad. And no, I don't think she's ungrateful at all. No.
I think that to expect her to shift from such an extreme emotion of sadness and just hurt to then be like, oh, everything is okay, and it's all good, I wasn't just humiliated and let down 2 seconds ago, I'm fine. Again, is that same feeling of, let me smash your phone but then give you a new phone to replace it. It's just, this is not a Sour Patch Kids commercial. You don't get to be sour than sweet, and it works that way.
That's not real life. It does not work that way, guys. It is asinine. Do not.
To wrap this up, Desiree and I, when she first presented this idea of doing Am I the Asshole, and we talked about this in the first episode, I wasn't too keen on it because of this. Because I don't get the stupidity and the lack of consideration. I'm like, are we really that far gone as a human race that we can't put ourselves in other people's position? What if that had been you in the restaurant for 2 hours crying your eyes out, thinking that everybody had abandoned you for bullshit excuses on your birthday, after you finally put yourself out there for years of not even celebrating yourself on your birthday, after years of having traumatic birthdays in your childhood? It's like people lack such common sense to even for just a second think about how somebody else is feeling, and to do something in celebration of somebody that you care about and do it so poorly, to not even think how leaving them at a restaurant for 2 hours would affect them. I don't get that human behavior. I'm like, I just don't understand it. It's not even difficult for me to consider how somebody else might be feeling or to try to put myself in their position. It doesn't take that much effort. So when I hear these things, it enrages me. These things enrage me because I'm like, this is such a lack of just basic human decency and common courtesy. It's such a lack of common sense. And don't get me wrong, I've met people in my life who I'm like, wow, how have you survived this long? Because the lack of common sense is just through the roof. But most of the time, those people are few and far between. But it seems like with these stories that stupidity is prevalent among us.
Yeah, we are seeing that though. So sadly, I'm learning way too much. Humanity is not what I thought it was.
Oh my gosh. So for our audience out there who are listening or watching, thank you for coming on this roller coaster. This is going to be a little bit longer of a video for us, but I think we can get away with it because the stories are so interesting. But please let us know if you have any Am I the Assholes that you would like us to react to. We plan on doing more of these in the future, so please send them to us.
Especially if the person is actually the asshole in the end. That would be fun.
Oh, we would love that.
That would be so much fun.
Because it's never usually the person that's writing it. So if you have any Am I the Asshole stories that you would like us to react to, please send them to us. Just put the title of them in any of the comment section on any of our platforms and we'll find them. Please don't send links because we can't trust that all the links are good.
Unfortunately, this is why we can't have nice things.
We also have an email. So if you want to send the full transcript to us in an email, we will be happy. But again, no links.
No links.
If we're not going to click on any links.
But copy and paste the whole story. That would be awesome. You can send it at pothepod@gmail.com. So friends, be sure to follow, like, subscribe to all the social media things if you are on YouTube, if you are on a podcast platform. Also friends, wherever you're listening to this podcast, if you could leave us a review, that would be fantastic. That helps the algorithm connect us with other people who would also like our content. So that would be great if you could do us that favor. But yes, this was a roller coaster of an episode of Am I the Asshole reactions.
There were some good stories.
There were some good stories, and we clearly get passionate because it's us. Duh.
Well, until next time, friends.
Bye.